It was leg one of Europe's craziest banger rally, and I was in France waiting for the competitors to turn up. Communication's a little bit bleak because of mobile phone signal, but I think what's happened is most of the guys on the Dumball rally have missed their slot on the Eurotunnel and they've been pushed to the back of the queue, which means they're not going to get here maybe until midnight. 2 competitors have gone past already. The Ron Burgundy Volvo and the Jaguar. Apart from that, it's just me and some truckers trying to sleep. I'm going. Sure enough, on the other side of the channel, the ralliers were finally boarding the train, with many of their cheap old cars throwing up, shall we say, technical hitches.
That's because we've just swapped in our reversing light because we didn't have any brake light at all 5 minutes ago.
So far, no one had encountered a serious problem. I just hoped that they could make the next 200 miles to Reims. Porsche 911, definitely not sub £400. Sounds good though, doesn't it? And while the public marvelled at their ludicrous modes of transport...
Oh, Bethy Bobs! Hey? Bethy, you there? Oh, yeah!
I was still waiting for someone to turn up. Oh, hang on, someone's just pulled in. This is Cole Trickle from Days of Thunder. Look. It was top mechanic Danny and his convoy of bangers. Time for me to get a professional insight on who might be the first to drop out. You made it.
Yeah, there's a few that are limping already though, I think. We've got to have a look at that one over there. I think he's losing his clutch.
Oh, what, the Shogun?
Shogun, yeah. Yeah, it's losing fluid as quick as you can put it in.
Yeah. So that's got an issue, and the Scorpio's got an indecisive auto box.
Yeah, so we've got 3.
And we haven't even done what? No. Haven't even done 100 miles?
Yeah.
Flyby. Mission for flyby. Nice driving, boys. Tight convoy we've got.
At last, the convoys were moving on French soil. But as I caught up with the Blue Squadron, I couldn't help but notice there was a strange sound coming from the dog at the front.
The hairy mutt car, you're running on 3 cylinders.
No, no.
From the exhaust note, trust me.
I don't know what a cylinder is.
Could be a spark plug, because if you pop the bonnet in a fuel station, you'll see if there's any sparking.
Looking in fuel stations is not good.
It was 1 AM, and as the cars limped through the night, we neared Reims. That was when some shocking, yet impressive, news came through on the radios.
What is the press? The White Squadron are going straight to Milan.
At the hotel, I wondered who, if anybody, would turn up. It's 1:45 in the morning, so yeah, some of them have said because they've missed their slot on the train on the Eurotunnel, they're actually going to drive all the way through the night to the next stop. Brave manoeuvre, not one for me. 4 competitors have already arrived here, but we're waiting for a couple of other cars. In fact, a big squadron are going to be coming around this corner any minute. And sure enough, the cars finally started to arrive. Ladies and gentlemen, these are not drivers. These are warriors of the road. Ah, good morning.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well.
The hair's all stayed on?
I know, done very well. Smooth, just
Yeah, bit of a 3-cylinder issue at speed, but it's running on 4 now. But don't worry, I'll be fine. Eurostars, how are you? I forget how big his splashes are inside. Look at the size of it. It is the size of a train. It's gone 2 in the morning. There'll be an old woman asleep in there going mental.
Time.
Oh, stroke it. It's such a strokeable car. Hello, you all right? How's the car?
Well, she's thirsty, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, you're fully laden. Look at the back suspension.
yeah.
That's the cheapest way to lower a car. 4 large tennis-playing men.
Car after car rolled through the gates, and although some still had worrying issues,
The Ron Burgundy's in the Shogun.
it was so far so good for the Dumballers.
How is it? You've got here.
We got here, yeah,
Is
eventually.
it the clutch?
It is the clutch.
Poor thing's got no clutch left. Now we haven't actually had any full casualty retirements yet, but that Shogun there has almost got no clutch. There's an old Mercedes, a black Mercedes with the El Presidentes in, which has almost no clutch. And there's one other car. Oh, the Saab, the Spitfire fighter Saab, that has an issue at the moment with the cam chain. A part of the cam chain has actually fallen off, but it's still going. So no one's dead yet. No one's dead yet. So we're winding up with the first day. We're staying over here in Rheims. Tomorrow, though, is going to be an absolute killer. We've got nearly 500 miles to crack because we're driving from here, from Rheims to Milan, over the Alps. Tomorrow also is the start of the competitive big challenges amongst the teams. Who knows what they'll be? I don't know. Not yet.
After just 4 hours kip, the teams were up early preparing for a huge day of driving. The convoys were bound for Milan, which was over 500 miles away. But the Purple Squadron suffered an immediate setback. Keen to get to the petrol station first,
We need some more people.
Adventure Headwear wedged themselves on a curb.
Wedge, good.
Oh. Ready?
You followed
Take the pedestrian. Take.
I need that later. That's fuel or brake fluid.
It looked like they'd done some serious damage.
Whose idea was it to go off there?
Naturally,
that
the
your
immediate
car?
reaction of their rivals was to just laugh.
That's the fuel tank. Sorry.
That's a Neolithic approach, that is.
But I don't think they realised quite how serious the problem was.
I think you might damage a fuel pump because it isn't starting anymore.
Yeah, that's more than possible.
At what point did you think this was the best way to leave the car park?
We needed to get the problem sorted quickly.
Nice. We all right? Yeah, that's nice. I trust it now.
All time.
But my diagnosis was bad.
Okay, well that's the fuel pump. So you've hit the fuel pump. You've really hit the fuel pump. It's open like a can of sardines. But basically the whole back of it's missing.
Yeah,
It's that big, so fuel, if I tip it up, fuel just pours out.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great sometimes, does it?
Suddenly, the laughing had stopped.
See, it's dripping fuel.
But luckily my diagnosis was also wrong.
Yes, it's the filter. If you can work out what the French for fuel filter is.
The fuel filter.
It was actually the fuel filter, a part that a car can live without. That's if the cross-dressing sailor could help me get it off.
Stop looking at my bloody skirt, will you?
Can you get it out your end?
Another Dumball.
We've got it. So fuel comes in, fuel's supposed to come out, fuel doesn't. You basically gashed the only part underneath the car.
So it's quite special what I did.
With no time to look for a new filter, we replaced it with some rubber tubing held in place with gaffer tape.
We've just bought a length of a fuel pipe and some brand new Jubilee clips.
But would it work?
I think it's fixed. So we could start it up in neutral on there, and then be happy that it runs, and then lift it off.
Let's go.
Okay, go.
Finally, we were ready to drive to Milan.
Have you ever repaired a car in a buoyancy aid before?
No.
No, I don't think anyone has.
Next time, the cars drop like flies as they hit the Alps.
Is it the end of a dream?
Big bang, a lot of noises and no power, no engines.
And the Euro Rally challenges commence.